presentation. You have done a good presentation on the situation, the different shocks that the industry is suffering, and it's indeed a lot of pressure on the European industry on top of previous difficult situation due to the pandemic. Is now the situation when we have problems, as you have described, on the energy, raw materials, loss of markets. On the actions, you have presented your 3M, and they are well established in an elegant way. However, in our opinion, is not sufficient. Is a more an analytical situation, is an important situation to map, to understand, but we need to be more proactive. And I would put forward two suggestions that could be important for a transition period for this emergency that our industry is undergoing. One is a kind of stress test to understand our current regulations. Some of them could be alleviated in terms of regulatory burden and bureaucratic burden during this period of the crisis, so that they can be better prepared to face the problems that they are facing. So from the point of view of regulation. The second suggestion is something that we have done in the past, like in Horizon 2020, to have a kind of fast tracking for funding that is much quicker than the procedures that we have in place, that are very good in normal terms, very transparent, but we need to go faster. And not only on Horizon Europe, but also in the Innovation Fund, in the different funds, in the regional funds. So in certain way, for certain technologies, for certain systems, for certain areas that help the industry, we could have a fast track for funding to support our European industry to face these difficult times. So these are two suggestions for your considerations. Thank you very much.
Mrs. Carvalho, the 3M, they are actually pretty proactive, and some of the problems, they can be very local, and that's why the clusters are so important, because they solve them at a local level, and the matchmaking is really where the companies organize themselves on a local level to help each other and understand the problems. The stress testing of regulations, we're actually looking at that, and there are a number of regulations we already proposed where we would have to adapt. Sometimes, and I mean, I thank the Parliament, because with some of the regulations you were super fast with us, and to that. But we are continuing really with looking at where regulations currently are a barrier, and this is also the feedback we get. For example, the whole complex of permitting. You know, to be able to do your solar installation quickly, to move away from gas, or to be able to have a connection to wind energy. Sometimes it's permitting. It's not only EU rules that create the problem for permitting, it's mainly the national rules. And that's why we have this Single Market Enforcement Task Force to actually map the permitting rules and to contrast why the same windmill takes 2 years in one country and 8 years in another country to be authorized. The fast tracking for EU funds, this is also ongoing work where we're looking into, and the work that I mentioned we're doing on the hydrogen, for example, on the hydrogen projects that we have, looking at the risk profile of these projects, and then looking at, you know, how we can better de-risk them by grants, by bringing in the EIB, other investors, means that by having this focus, that we are faster on the projects.